Yesterday, I reminded this audience of one of the most proven and time-tested Salcedo Show axioms. Leftists project qualities onto others that they themselves have in abundance. There are simpler ways of saying this. Left-wingers impose rules they refuse to obey. Democrats are guilty of the things they say Republicans are guilty of. Or hypocrites. Who needs them? That's our focus in today's preamble. In the wake of the fourth absurdly predicated indictment against President Trump, MSNBS hosted one of the most prolific election deniers from a party of election deniers, Hillary Clinton. Rachel Maddow was mercilessly dragged for her and Hillary Clinton's lack of self-awareness.
If bad actors tell us falsely that every election is stolen and that the only way an election is trustworthy is if they come out on top of it, then something, it tells you something not just about that person or that moment. It maybe wounds us as a democracy and in a way that is hard to repair.
The lack of trust, the divisiveness, the undermining of faith in ourselves, in each other, respect for our institutions, the rule of law, all of that has been deliberately inculcated within our body politic.
Man, hypocrites. We all remember that Joe Biden ran for office promising to return normalcy and civility to the White House. And he has done so. Well, if you call alleged criminal bribery, calling your political opponents enemies, and surrendering to communist China normal, Joe Biden is ruled as a Marxist radical, not seen since Barack Obama. In fact, Joe Biden is fighting to kill free speech. A Texas law prohibits social media companies from discriminating against users for their political views. Joe Biden is fighting that law. So much for being an occupier of the Oval Office for all Americans, eh, Joe? Hypocrite. Joe Biden's hypocrisy knows no bounds as he calls President Trump a threat to the United States, while we learn that House Oversight Chairman James Comer is demanding that the weaponized National Archives and Records Administration hand over all documents and communications relating to Ukraine and his son's involvement there, in which then Vice President Joe Biden used synonyms such as Robin Ware, J.R.B. Ware, and Robert Peters. Yes, Bob Peters. The jokes write themselves, I know. But this is no laughing matter. What legitimate reason would the Vice President of the United States have for using a pseudonym? It seems Mr. Normal there was undertaking activities he didn't want Americans to know about and to be attached to his Biden name, such as it is. And let's not forget the other side of the uniparty. Axios is reporting that top House Republicans are worried they'll need Democrats to pass more dangerous, reckless, and irresponsible overspending, as the House GOP already seems poised to abandon their promise of regular order and undertake another round of Democrat rear-end kissing by backing another continuing resolution. In so doing, the GOP will be sticking Americans with even more crippling and unpayable debt. Fun fact here, they'll also be funding all of the corruption that is attacking the GOP and conservatives as we speak. The Freedom Caucus doesn't appear to be on board.
Moving forward with a 3-month continuing resolution or a 2-month continuing resolution that would fund government at last year's bloated levels. If you think it is a good idea to do that for even a scintilla second, you are insane, putting aside that this is the regular playbook that will enable the uniparty to come together in December, right before Christmas, that did exactly what occurred last year when the Senate had 17 Republicans side with Democrats to screw over the American people. It is a non-starter.
Okay, well, you guys know what he's talking about. They maneuver us all the time into this emergency. They put it off to the very last minute, and when everybody wants to go home for Christmas, oh, it's an emergency, you must pass whatever the heck we want you to pass. It's craziness. Fully funding Democrat, anti-American, corrupt, and pro-China agenda, it doesn't sound very Republican to me. It sounds hypocritical. Nobody likes a hypocrite, except maybe a permanent Washington, because they seem to be teeming there with hypocrites. My question to my fellow countrymen, how do you all feel about hypocrites? And if you don't support them, how do you plan to get them out of power so their hypocrisy can no longer harm our people.